Welcome to the Shango Diaries, where passion meets vulnerability and love unfolds one story at a time. Modern, raw, and unapologetically real. Get ready to dive into the unexpected. This is the Shango Diaries, written by Madison.
Welcome to episode 12 of the Shango Diaries, penned by the one and only Madison. Monica's back, navigating her wild world, bossing up in reality TV, vibing heavy with Shango, and managing co-parenting drama with her son's dad. It's raw, it's real, and it's all spilled through her emails. Unfiltered thoughts on love, lust, and the late-night grind. Hustle and heart, that's Monica's life. Let's get into it.
All right, so we're going back in time, like way back 2008.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, we're diving into the Shango Diaries, written by Madison. And it's a true story, all based on emails and texts.
Like a total digital time capsule.
Right. No filters, no curated posts, just raw communication from back in the day.
That's fascinating.
It is. It's like a window into how people dated, worked, and just lived online before smartphones and all that.
Before social media as we know it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So imagine this. You're a single mom in New York City.
Okay.
You're producing this reality show about fighting.
Whoa.
And you fall head over heels for this intense guy named Shango.
Intense.
Yeah, super intense. Oh, and you met him online.
Of course.
All while juggling your ex and a demanding boss.
That's a lot.
That's our protagonist, Monica.
So how do we experience her story?
Through her emails, remember 2008?
Yeah, vaguely.
People still relied heavily on email back then.
Oh, yeah, for everything.
For everything.
Everything.
So we see these different sides of Monica.
Like what?
We see the passionate, intimate emails to Shango where she's pouring her heart out.
Okay.
And then we see the stressed, no-nonsense emails to colleagues about work deadlines and fighter lists.
Two different worlds.
It's like two different people almost.
And it shows how we change our communication style depending on who we're talking to, right?
Totally. And what's interesting is the tension we see in her emails to Shango.
Tension.
Yeah. She clearly wants his affection and validation.
Okay.
But she also struggles to set boundaries in the relationship.
I see.
Like she'll be gushing about wanting to spend her life with him.
Oh.
But then she gets upset when he tries to tell her what to wear. Yeah. Classic push and pull.
We see this a lot, don't we?
All the time. And speaking of calling the shots, her emails with her ex, Tony, are intense.
Oh, no.
They're going back and forth about their son Jordan's failing grades.
Oh.
Yeah, she's basically begging him to step up and be a father.
Yikes.
I know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but can we talk about that email where she casually mentions looking up a word on Urban Dictionary?
Urban Dictionary in 2008. That's hilarious.
I know, right? It was still kind of new then.
Yeah, that's a total blast from the past.
It shows how the internet was changing, how we communicate slang terms, all
I
that.
love those little details.
Me too. And speaking of details, remember the email where Monica has to ask her colleague what the day rate is for production assistants?
No. What is it?
$150 a day plus meals.
Wow.
Can you believe that?
It's crazy how much things have changed.
Right. Back then, everything was done through email.
Everything.
Booking flights for Lil Jon and his armed security guard, coordinating fighter tryouts, you name it.
Wild.
It's wild to think how much we take for granted now. Instant messaging, video calls.
He was a slower pace.
Much slower.
Yeah.
But there's still this sense of urgency in Monica's life.
How so?
She's constantly battling deadlines, dealing with crises at work,
Right.
and then trying to manage this volatile relationship with Shango.
On top of everything else.
Exactly. And remember, all of this is happening as the 2008 financial crisis is looming.
Oh, yeah, that adds another layer to it.
Definitely adds a layer of stress and uncertainty to her world.
For sure. So, okay, back to Shango for a sec.
Yeah, his emails are something else.
What are they like?
Passionate, intense, and sometimes a little possessive.
Possessive how?
You can just tell he wants to own her. Constantly commenting on how turned on he is by her and how she belongs to him.
That's a red flag.
Huge red flag.
Yeah.
And there's definitely a power dynamic there.
Yeah.
He often dictates the terms of their intimacy.
Leaving Monica to kind of figure it all out.
Exactly. Like that email where he tells her to handle it and get those heels.
Ugh, come on.
I know, right?
So cringy.
It's like he's not even asking, he's demanding.
Totally. But what's interesting is how Monica responds.
What does she do?
She doesn't just give in.
Good for her.
She tries to appease him, but she also pushes back subtly.
Interesting.
Like she's not totally comfortable with his demands.
It's a tough situation.
It's a complex dance for sure. And it all plays out in these raw, unfiltered emails.
So we're getting the unvarnished truth. Exactly. It's like we're right there with them, experiencing it all.
And it makes you think about how much of ourselves we can see in their struggles, even though it was so long ago.
Totally.
Right.
It's like the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Absolutely. So now that we have a sense of Monica's world,
Her job, her co-parenting struggles, this new relationship.
it's a lot.
It's a lot. Let's dive deeper into the Shango Diaries and see how it all unfolds.
Remember that bombshell we left off with?
The heels.
Yeah, Monica pushing back against Shango's demand.
Oh, yeah. That felt like a turning point.
It was. Like she's finally standing up for herself.
Right. Like, wait a minute, you can't tell me what to do.
Exactly. And it's not just about the shoes.
Oh.
It's about Shango trying to control her and Monica starting to realize she deserves respect.
That's like she's waking up from a bad dream.
Totally. Realizing this guy might not be all that.
Yeah, and it makes you think how many other women were in similar situations.
Especially back then, in the early days of online dating.
Right. Trying to figure out what was okay and what wasn't.
Right. Absolutely. 2008 was a different time.
Before all these conversations about healthy relationships and boundaries.
For sure. But even then, Monica's pushback is significant.
Yes.
It shows she's not going to be just another one of his conquests.
Speaking of conquests,
Oh, boy.
let's not forget about the other drama in Monica's life.
Tony.
Those emails about Jordan's grades are rough.
They are. You can tell Monica's at her wit's end.
She's trying so hard to get him to step up.
And be a father.
Yeah, she even threatens to take him to court.
Wow. It highlights the challenges of co-parenting.
Especially when one parent isn't pulling their weight.
Absolutely. And for Monica, it's just another layer of stress.
On top of everything else.
Work, Shango, Tony. It's like she's constantly putting out fires.
I know, it's crazy. And it's interesting how those different parts of her life start to bleed into each other.
What do you mean?
Well, think about her work on Iron Ring.
Okay.
It's a show about fighting conflict, dominance, control.
Right.
And those are the same themes that are playing out in her personal life.
Especially with Shango.
Exactly. It's like her work is mirroring her personal struggles.
And don't forget the 2008 financial crisis looming in the background.
Oh, yeah, true. It's like this added pressure cooker.
We see glimpses of it in her emails, concerns about budgets, the network tightening its belt.
It just adds another layer of anxiety to her already chaotic world.
For sure. But can we go back to those heels for a second?
Yeah.
Because Monica's response to Shango is brilliant.
It is. She doesn't yell or get all emotional.
She's so calm and collected.
And she just lays out all the reasons why he's wrong.
Like a masterclass in setting boundaries.
It is.
Mhm.
She's reminding him that she have a life outside of their relationship.
That she's not his possession.
Yeah, and that she's not going to be treated like one.
That final line, though.
Once I handle it, are you ready for the aftermath?
Chills.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like she's finally realizing her own power.
And Shango has no idea what's coming.
It's a pivotal moment.
Yeah.
We see Monica shifting the power dynamic.
She's not just following his lead anymore.
She's taking control. It's so empowering.
But it also makes you wonder, how's Shango going to react to this new Monica?
That's the big question. Will he try to regain control, or will he respect her newfound strength?
And how will Monica navigate this new phase of their relationship?
Especially with all the other pressures in her life.
Right, work, Tony, everything.
So much going on. So before we dive into the next part, what stands out to you about Monica's evolution so far?
I think it's her resilience.
Yeah.
Despite all the chaos in her life, she keeps pushing forward, fighting for herself and her son.
He's a fighter.
And even in the face of Shango's controlling behavior, she finds a way to assert her own voice.
It's inspiring.
Monica's a survivor, and her story, even though it's from over 15 years ago, still resonates today.
I agree.
It reminds us that we all have the power to define ourselves, set boundaries, and create relationships that are based on respect and equality.
Okay, so Monica's standing up for herself, setting boundaries. But how does Shango react?
Not well. He doesn't take it well at all.
Seriously?
Yeah, he doubles down on the control tactics.
Even after she called him out?
Yeah, we see it in the emails. The power struggle gets worse.
Wow.
He tries to guilt trip her, saying things like, if you really loved me, you'd.
Oh no, classic manipulation.
Totally.
So what does Monica do? Does she give in?
No, to her credit, she doesn't. She keeps pushing back, asserting her independence,
Good.
but it takes a toll on her.
You can tell, right?
Yeah, she's getting more and more frustrated.
And don't forget, she's still dealing with her job and Tony.
Oh, yeah, it's like every part of her life is a battle.
Exactly. It makes the Shango Diaries so compelling.
It's not just a love story.
It's about a woman navigating all these pressures.
From her lover, her work society.
Okay, so back to Shango. How does it end? Do they break up?
Well, I don't want to spoil everything.
Okay.
But Monica has a major realization.
What's that?
She realizes that she deserves to be with someone who respects her, supports her.
Who doesn't try to control her.
Exactly.
So she dumps him.
It's not that simple. There are some twists and turns.
Boy.
But ultimately, she makes a decision that prioritizes her own happiness.
It's easy to judge her choices looking back.
I know what you mean.
But this was 2008. Remember?
Yeah, online dating was still new.
And we weren't having the same conversations about healthy relationships.
Right, it was a different time.
The Shango Diaries. It's a reflection of that time.
It shows how relationships were evolving in the digital age.
And all the challenges that came with it.
For sure.
It's like a cautionary tale, but also a story of empowerment.
Exactly. Monica stumbles, but she finds the strength to break free.
And to find her own path.
That's a message that's still relevant today.
Totally. No matter what year it is, we all deserve respect.
And relationships built on equality and understanding.
So as we close the book on the Shango Diaries,
Right.
What's the biggest takeaway for you?
The reminder that personal growth is messy.
Yeah.
And it's through those challenges that we learn to value ourselves.
To set boundaries.
And create the relationships we deserve.
Monica's story reminds us that even when we feel lost, we have the power to choose our own ending.
And sometimes the most empowering ending is walking away.
Well said. That's a wrap on the Shango Diaries.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into 2008.
Love, work, digital drama.
It's been a pleasure. Until next time, keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep connecting.
And that's a wrap on episode 12 of the Shango Diaries. Monica's world is never short on drama, love, and late-night confessions. And there's plenty more to come. Make sure to subscribe and leave a review. It helps more listeners discover the Shango Diaries. And hey, let's keep the conversation going. Follow me, Monica Madison, on Instagram for behind-the-scenes updates and more. Until next time, stay locked in. The story's just getting started.